Hey, all right, here we go. We're going to get right into it with the Carolingian Dynasty. Start with this slide here, which is the end of the Merovingian Dynasty. We had Clovis, who was the starter. Well, Merovich was the start, then Childeric, then Clovis. As Clovis's ancestors and the kings start to grow weak, the mayor of the palace grows strong, and it's Charles the Hammer who steps in. Charles Martel wins the Battle of Tours, stops the advance of the Muslims into Western Europe, which is why Western Europe was able to stay Christian. All right. Now, his son Pepin is going to be anointed by the Pope. He's going to help the Pope against the Lombards. And from that, we get the Carolingians. All right. The Carolingian dynasty now. All right. Here we go. Pepin the Short ended the rule of the Merovingians. But it's his son we're going to kind of focus on. All right. And that is Charlemagne. Okay, Pepin dies in 768. He has two sons. One dies young. The second is Charles or Charlemagne. He had two goals: bring Western Europe under his rule, and all Germanic people to become Christian. All right. In order to do so, you got to go to war, and that's what he does. Fights the Lombards, fights the Saxons, fights the Muslims, non-Germanic tribes as well. Expands the Frankish Empire to its greatest size. It's pretty big. All right, right here. All right. Pretty big empire. We're in the Dark Ages now, and Charlemagne is going to do everything he can to bring them out. Now, while running this Holy Roman Empire, he divides the land up into counties run by counts. County, count, get it? We have counties today. All right. Those counts are to protect the land protect the land. All right, and their manners. All right, to ensure that his orders were being followed, he would go around and check on these people, but he would have these messengers that would do that as well, and they're called the Missi Dominici. These counts cared for local problems, but Charlemagne himself journeyed throughout his empire to be around his people. The people enjoyed that. They saw him. They knew who he was. He was special, but he was out there just like you've had a principal that's out there. You like that. Okay? During this time period, the church and the government are very close. All right, Charlemagne is going to increase the power of the Pope by instituting what is called a tithe, okay, and which means 10% of your income goes to the church. Charlemagne helps the Pope helps Charlemagne, declares him emperor. Charlemagne builds churches, monasteries, which will become centers of learning. He hires scholars as tutors, like Alcuin of York. He's given many libraries that had been destroyed and kind of rebuilds those. Values education, starts schools that have religion, Latin, music, literature, and arithmetic. And he hires scholars, like we just said, like Alcuin. All right, and the arts begin to flourish again. With education, you often get the arts. Okay, Charlemagne died in 814 A.D. He cared. People began caring more about their own estates than the empire after his death. Charlemagne set up this idea of estates, which is going to kind of lend itself to the feudal system. Let's take a look at that. Under Charles Martel and Charlemagne, if you fought for him and you did a great job, you were given land. Okay, this land was an estate, and each estate took care of its own needs. There were tons of jobs on each estate. You could ever be a carpenter or a miller or a brewer, but you also had farmers. In the center of an estate, you would have had a stone house. This is where the head lord would have lived, and they would have had a wooden stockade or a wooden fence around it. Farmers lived on simple wooden houses out in the fields, okay? And the farmers wound up doing more for the nobles who owned the land than they did themselves, and this gives the birth to this idea of a serf. A serf is like a slave. If you bought that land or got that land, like way down the road, you're going to see in feudal society, if you got the land, you got the people who worked the land with it. It came with it as if they were a tree living on that land. It was like being a slave to that land, okay? And now back to that idea of people caring more about their own estates than the empire, pretty much like a lack of patriotism, so to speak, okay? We have Louis the Pious, Charlemagne's son, all right? He takes over, but then Louis's three sons after Louis take over, and they really fight a lot. And you know, who's gonna be the leader of this entire land area? And they come up with this treaty. It's called the Treaty of Verdun. The Treaty of Verdun, the land of the Franks is split into three. All right, and as you see here, you have the territory of Charles the Bald, the territory of Lothair, and the territory of Louis the German. This becomes France. This becomes Germany. This land in the middle is fought over for many, many, many years. Some people even say World War II. This had something to do with World War II. Is it a part of France? Is it a part of Germany? So let's take a look at a modern day map. See, France has most of that land now, but all right, let's flash back real quick. See, France is not that big. All right, it actually has much of this into it. And Germany is up here. So some of that land was down here into Italy as well. All right. So now that we're done this, you guys should understand how the Carolingian Dynasty affected the future of the Holy Roman Empire. They worked together. One helped the other. The Catholic Church helped Charlemagne become more of a leader of the entire area, while Charlemagne served as more or less a bodyguard to the Catholic Church. Okay, he brought Europe out of the Dark Ages, Charlemagne did, by valuing education. All right, we talked about how a state life under Charlemagne leads to the feudal system, and how the Treaty of Verdun shaped parts of Western Europe, like those countries of France and Germany and Belgium. All right, check out the Khan Academy videos below and the song parody. See ya.